So when we are going to be live, we are now live. Can it catch the voice quickly? Can it catch the voice quickly? Quickly. So can it the microphone is good enough
Yeah, microphone. I think microphone is good enough, but I don't know if you can catch that high quality.
Okay. It's really nice that I can see myself like few moments ago.
Yeah, it's
Okay. But is it going to be recording?
it's recording too.
Dang it! At least you're going to cut it, montage it,
Yeah, I made it there.
make me look good.
$10. Okay.
I thought you were going to do it for the whole day's sake.
That was my task. Really? You don't say. لا انا عادي مش زي ما
مش حاجة تعالي وديها
لا ربنا هي الفكرة
It's okay, you can just take it. I can help you.
كده خلص بقى.
Hello everyone, can you hear me? Okay, yeah, first of all, thank you all for coming to the event and waiting for like 10 minutes. And I will pass the sheet and could you please write your name and your email address in the readable form so that later the event we can also send you the next newspapers and update about the next event. And
Yeah. So first of all, thanks to all of you, especially thanks to Gaurav who has provided us this platform, and thanks to our speakers, they take their time out, and to all of you as well, thanks for coming. So this is very first tech building event, which we named as Creative Tech Opportunities, and we divided this event into two segments. The first segment will be about how can you find such opportunities within the ability? I mean, how can you be a demonstrator or instructor? And in the second segment, we will have such question answers as well. And then we will have the second segment, which will be more focused about how to get an internship or the job. And then again, the question answer. And at the end, we will ask you for the feedback. And that's pretty much about it. So, very first, I'm Shafaqat Iqbal. I'm GDSC lead, and with me, Hongo, she's also the GDSC lead for the ELTE chapter. And then I'll ask my speakers today to introduce themselves, and then they'll start the very first segment, which is about the opportunities within the faculty. Did you guys hear me well, right?
yes, can you speak a bit louder?
Okay, now let's speak.
Hello, everyone. I'm Nadine Hussein. Some of you already know me. I'm Egyptian. I've been living here for about 4.5 years, so I've been here before starting university. I started university 2018 September, and I graduated this July. I work as a full-time application developer at IBM, mostly focusing web development, so I'm a full-stack developer. And yeah, that's all.
So, my name is Hussein Nadim. Please call me Sam. I graduated last June. Currently, I'm working at Cloudera as a software engineer. We are working basically in Cloudera data visualization tool based on web. I used to be helping in functional programming as an administrator and a TA for a couple of semesters. And yeah, that wraps up.
He was one of the best demonstrators, but doesn't like to give himself credit. My name is Tarek. I am currently a third semester student at the university. I'm a functional programming instructor, current. I was kind of taught by Hassan, and now I'm doing what he used to do. There's not much to say about me, honestly. That's pretty much the interesting bit.
Chemistry.
Oh, come on. That's a
Why
little.
not?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought
Yeah. I don't like gloating about it.
And you can ask questions after the segment, so keep your questions.
That was a good question. I appreciate that.
go with your presentation. I can go first. Okay, so, well, the event is basically a few of us wanted it to be as interactive as possible. So at least when I'm speaking, you can feel free to interrupt me at any time. So other than the questions, everyone is going to say some experience or something that he wants to share first. So what I wanted to start, and at least that I guess my first time to be in a classroom really cares about what I'm saying. Uh, as about how to be a TA or administrator, and I think not a lot of people really likes it. A lot of people likes what is it from outside, but not what it really is. And the first step to be like that is either having the opportunity or creating it. In my case, it was creating the opportunity, and this is also a big rule in life, as not everyone is going to hand you what you want or what you are actually aspiring for, but sometimes you have to go there and ask for it. So, from my experience in functional programming, no one invited me to be an administrator at the beginning, but they actually at the beginning I wasn't as ever, so like it was very hard thing to think about at the beginning. But I wanted that from the beginning, and I took the steps. And after that, I told them, okay, it's going to be cool to be part of this because I really like what you are offering, the system, and I think I can add something to that. So, if you want to be something which is in any subject you like, you want to help in it, it's about including yourself and giving something or putting something to the table. So, for example, in functional, we did have less and less what you are seeing now, and that's because of a lot of people coming with different ideas, and that the professor was able to give us the opportunity to put this ideas in the course, and so on. So, if you really aspiring to have something, go forward to it and work on it, and don't be shy to put yourself there for it. And yeah,
For the functional programming procedures, like, is there a criteria that you have to fulfill in order to become an administrator, like credits or five in the course?
yeah. So 5 is pre-request, so you have to be good at it to be able to help others.
Yeah,
And
you kind of have to be good at it. So,
and but like getting the 4 doesn't mean that you are not good at it, and it's not a pre-requirement. It's just something that it has been not a legacy, but something that everyone had. But it's not a pre-requirement. The pre-requirement is to teach in the university in general, is having or the administrator is I think 50 credits.
55 credits.
Yeah, 55 credits. So basically, if you are not a superhuman being, you cannot do it in 1 semester. So 2 semesters, and after that, you can like start doing it.
Unless you are a transfer student.
Yeah, that's also the second case.
So master's students can be functional programming.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah,
They study.
we have one currently, I believe. He is studying his master's and he is teaching, not teaching, he's a demonstrator in our group. His name, well, let's not go there. I don't exactly remember his name, but it is possible, yes, for master's students.
So it means that they study training and masters.
Yeah, master students, I believe, I'm not very sure, but I think if you don't succeed on the preliminary test, you have to study functional before studying. I'm not sure if it's on the first semester for masters
So
or.
it's a pre-requirement for a master's student to have functional programming course as their bachelor. So most of the master's students come here because functional programming is not most famous right now. So they actually come here and take the bachelor level first, and then I guess they have a harder one, but I have never been through that.
Is it a hard one? Do they not study?
If there is, I think it's a charge.
Yeah, that's
Just like convention. Yeah, and is that okay? Uh,
But yeah, speaking about the opportunity to become or to help in a subject, it is possible for, I think, most subjects. If you are interested in a subject and you want to help in it, I think the only requirement that you absolutely must have is the 55 credit and 55 credits before applying. But to say that you have a 4 or a 5 in a subject, and that doesn't particularly mean that you're not good at it. And the professors can probably make exceptions. It's just that it gives the professor a better idea about you if you have a 5 or you have a 4. Because, that's what the grade is about. But that's pretty much the only requirement. And it really comes out. I'm not going to answer that. Hold on. just for a second, let me finish the thought. It doesn't mean that, like, go ahead.
Okay, so sorry for your stuff. So like demonstrators teaching assistants, they take projects at first, so like it's mandatory working as a demonstrator, like you have to take projects while you're working with that subject.
I guess Nadine has different experience with that, so she can start with that.
So you mean, what do you mean by projects?
You know, like soft labs and extracurricular projects in the university, but like functional programming demonstrators, they work on digital census projects.
So I was a TA in algorithms and data structures for a year. I started in my third year, and it wasn't. It was kind of similar to their experience, but not fully because not a lot of internationals actually can like go and ask for being a TA in subjects, especially in algorithms and data structures. As for the projects, for me, it wasn't and there wasn't any requirement related to being in a project related to that subject. Just pretty much the same thing. Be enthusiastic about the subject. I've created the opportunity as well. So since there wasn't any other demonstrator before me, I went to the professor and I asked him, "Hey, can I be a TA?" And why he accepted me is because I was enthusiastic about the subject. I got 4 on my ADS 1 and I got a 5 on my ADS 2, so I still did not get like a 5.5, but that didn't change the fact that I was interested in it and I was also interested in helping other people.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the job of a demonstrator or an instructor is to help the professor provide better materials or a better opportunity for the students to learn. So, me, last semester, I didn't have the 55 credits, but I talked to the professor because I was really interested in the project and I wanted to help the students get, better opportunities. And I didn't have the 55 credits, but the professor told me that I can do like voluntary consultations on my free time that I can like share my ideas or my way of thinking with the students and to answer their questions. Because at the end of the day, if you want to help, no one is going to stop you. And if you're really interested in it, then you can, and you have 55 credits, then you can just become an official helper.
Yeah, my experience is similar, and like the professor used to say that you have to start from washing dishes to be a chef. So,
Yeah, and it was even better, or you had more opportunity to do that like pre-COVID because like remember the lab
Yeah.
nights that we did, like we'd finish after a long day and then we go to Luvarda and when you enter there you find all your colleagues there and then you have the boards and you have all the computers on and then everyone was practicing with everyone. Whoever had a question in any other subject would help the other. So I think that that's an opportunity for everyone to practice either asking questions, because that's an art, and also helping other students so they're practicing more mentoring and practicing how to guide other people, which is a great practice for everyone to have and to seek after.
yeah, that's very true.
Do you have any consultations with algorithms data structures?
I always provided some time for my students. It was a bit different as well because I was the only demonstrator and I had so many students at the same time. It was mainly like focused before the exam. However, like throughout the semester, anyone who asked anything, I would like help them. And I also offered some consultations during the semester. However, it's a bit different than functional because for functional you have like weekly stuff to do, but it's different on algorithms. That's why it was a different experience.
Also, very basic question, the difference between a demonstrator and a TA. Can you guys elaborate on
So
that?
it's basically a demonstrator and an instructor. An instructor has to take a group and do the professor's job with them, to teach them the subject, go through the material with them in the practice classes. Whereas a demonstrator just helps with consultations, correcting the homeworks, exams, writing tasks, writing material for the subject.
That's a homework.
Yeah, that's the fun part.
It's not.
But It's mainly about the passion, honestly. If you're passionate for it, then you can go for it.
It's like a job for both of them. Like, okay, you can pay demonstrators and TAs.
Yes.
Yeah. Usually it's actually like from my experience, the Mr. and TA was basically the same.
Yep.
So there is no difference in money-wise, but like work-wise is different because it all depends on people. So for example, when I was an instructor for the first time, I did have someone who was waiting for me, and I was basically just going to the class and explaining. But in the second semester, we did have less and less people and more students, so I had to like evaluate assignments by myself and create homework sometimes and so on. But this like rolls back to the idea why you want to do something like that. I think reasons varies from someone to another, but for me it was because I saw someone who was really great at it, and I wanted to help people like he was doing, and it was Evan. That I don't know if any of you know him. Basically, if you know the, if you took functional programming, and he has most of the resources that we have, he created while he was here, and he helped it so much, everyone basically that, or at least for me, he seemed like helping everyone. And every time that I felt like, okay, that would be so great if I can do that for people as well. So it totally depends where you are coming from and why you're doing that.
Yeah, you don't have to teach per se, but if you want to teach, you can.
I think for me it was a bit different. I
Yeah.
think when you mentor someone, you know more about the subject, and then you learn more about what you're teaching. And this is the best part because obviously, if you're going to take a job in teaching something to students, then you need to like this topic. And then when you like it, then you're like you want to use it in your maybe daily work or just for practice. And when you help other people, you get to learn more and to also discover some new parts that maybe while you're taking the course you did not see it. And this enhances your skills in that particular topic.
I thought I had a bit of that.
Just in a question, what focuses our students to be done with? I know OT, EDA, lead, then algorithm data structure, what else?
That was the one that I can think of right now, but I think Nadine's is a great example for for a subject that didn't have any, and because she asked it and she wanted to be a part of it, they just let her in. And I think in functional programming it started like that as well. Usually, I didn't see any professor who wants to do all the work by him or himself, so it's nice to have a student who can help you with it. And if you can convince them that you are good for it, they're going to allow you in.
Yeah, I mean, if you show the teacher that you're like you want to do it, then it's fine. Even if like there wasn't any demonstrator before you, just go to the teacher and ask them, and they will tell you yes or no. Yeah.
Yeah. How many hours did you use to spend like as teaching assistant or demonstrator? And did it used to like interfere with your studies?
That question is kind of, well, see, at the beginning of the semester, there is not as much workload, right? But as it goes through until the midterm, then the workload gets bigger and bigger, and then it gets quieter a little bit after the midterm, and then goes up at the end. So at the exam times, it's kind of high. It takes around what 7 8 hours a week, without the correcting. I'm talking like preparing the material. Correcting is another topic.
Yeah.
Like it can be something on your mind, but I wouldn't say that it takes too much time off your hands that you can't really focus on your studies. Maybe. It's not that bad.
It's very dependable what state the course is at. So, for example, algorithm and data structure had, I think, less groups and more people in the groups. So
I had 63 students alone, so
yeah, and I mean, and she was alone, so that was a lot of load on her. But like for us, we did have maybe more than 100 students, but we were like five. So it totally depends on what you are doing, but I would say it's roughly 10 hours. I would say something like that, but
Depends
as
on level.
yeah,
It depends when in the semester.
well, it's a challenge to have a study work balance, and if you want to add life to that, that's yeah, something.
Thank you. Sorry to ask you this. Can you guys speak a bit louder for the live audience as well? Also, there is a question asked on the live stream that are there any opportunities to help faculty members with research papers as an international student or to become a research assistant at ELTE?
Yeah, that was something that I wanted to get to after talking about being an instructor and demonstrator, but there are a lot of opportunities, not just on like university level. There's national grants and opportunities to, that support researchers. So if you have a research, or you have an idea about a research, there are stuff like the TDK, UNTP, there are national grants that anyone can apply for. They're not just university specific, but having a recommendation from a supervisor would be a professor that you know, someone you've helped or something similar. So a recommendation from a supervisor for one of those grants is a ton of help. It puts you up there if you're applying for one of those. And so researching under a professor, it is possible, I'm pretty sure, yes. And not only that, like the professor goes out of their way to try to help you get the grants that are on national level. So it's not just university-based. While there are university-based scholarships and merits, there was one called EFOP, and one of the EFOP scholarships is still running until December, but currently it is ending. There are a bunch of other scholarships. One of them, there's one that came like as a follow-up for EFOP. I don't exactly know the name of it. I don't know how to get it right now, but there is one that came up as a follow-up, and it's basically a way to help students who are looking to research something under a professor. Yeah, that's literally the point of the scholarship, and it is university-based. And if you have a professor that that can help you, or that knows you, or you can talk to a professor that you don't even know and suggest an idea about research, then you can do that. And you can get that opportunity.
And also, like it comes in another way. Usually, professors announce what they are working at or what kind of subject. So, for example, if you saw someone who's teaching compilers, most probably they have research regarding that. And if you do like what they are teaching or the idea of what they are doing, you can just ask, okay, do you have any kind of projects that I can join in? And is it going to be possible to do that or just, or I have an idea and I want to start that? And usually they are pretty welcoming, from my experience at least. And I don't know if it's still doing, but last year we did have a whole conference about the project that is going on in the university. If you want to know if it's going to happen this year, I think you will need to ask Professor Gires on top because he's organized last year at least.
The conference is about
Uh,
self analysis.
No, it's about what kind of projects is university offering for everyone. So there was a project which associating with some of our partners. So I think Ericsson, yeah, Ericsson, yeah, was there, and you get some financial aid. So you get basically not a, not salary, but you get paid research basically, which is really good. Or you can be working on another level, which is really good for industry. So you can work with people who are really industrial issues and the solution for them, and that adds a lot for your experience in general.
So there's other activities that are see these research like the website.
The publications usually go in the professor's respective websites. So if you go to a professor's website, or you ask a professor himself about their research, you can get an answer there.
So you're like interested in, I don't know, compilers, you say, okay, I want to do something. Yes.
Yeah, well, there is currently a project going.
I just want to know what is the process exactly.
Yeah, you just go to it. I'm interested in a project.
Yeah,
And you go
so
from there.
even if the professor is not the one who's doing the project that you want to, he will address you to someone else. So he will redirect you basically.
even if you don't have such events, let's say you're interested in some specific language, for example, and you want to practice it, and then you go to the professor and then you ask them, okay, I'm interested in, I don't know, C++, do you have any project that does that? And then he will tell you yes or no. If yes, then you just ask him, okay, what is it about? What do you want from the student to know, etc. If not, then maybe, as Susam said, that he or she will direct you to another professor.
Do you have to be like a current student while you're working on research, or after you graduate you can continue with it?
You can continue after graduating. I'm still graduating. I still continue with the project after graduation. I'm supposed to continue a project as well. It's not currently working on, but yeah, it's very possible because if you stay for 1 year, after all, you are not just someone who's working, you are a source of information for the professor, so you can have mentees and you can really work well with them, and you will have another experience as well, which is really awesome because with these kind of project, you always have different experience with different types.
Well, for me, it was a bit different experience. I did go to Garazantan as well, and I asked him for a project, and we started working on it. It was a project about 5G supported, some kind of AI and really interesting things. But after COVID, we were not able to continue, and then the university asked us to develop an application for them, for the students to use instead of Teams, which was a huge step for us. And I took this an opportunity to take it as my thesis and also a project that I'm working on to the university with a professor. And it was the best decision I've ever taken because I'm practicing something I like. I'm considering it as my thesis, so technically I'm writing my thesis. And at the same time, I came experienced with it that at this moment, we are asking for more students to join it, and technically I'm like the leader of this project. I'm leading all the development processes that happens in it, and it's a really awesome step that you guys can take in the future as for developing more your skills.
Are you still working on it?
Yes, I am still working on ELTE Live until now. As I said, I'm like leading the project, and some other students are developing, and I also sometimes help with developing the application. However, hopefully it will be in production soon, and you guys can get to use it as well.
I think we have a question. There's a question online. In what year is it advised to start working on research or internships?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Whoa.
It depends on you as a person. How much experience do you have? A lot of students go into first semester having zero knowledge about anything. Like, and I was myself one of those. Like, I had absolutely no knowledge about coding at all when I first got in. And I would say that, depending on your previous knowledge, you should. The university says that the recommended semester for an internship is the fourth semester, I believe. Yeah, fourth.
Fifth.
Because you do need a year of internship as a prerequisite for graduating.
3 months, 3 full months if you're working part-time, and about 5 weeks if you're working full-time.
Yeah, so you just need an internship, and this university says that you should do it in fourth semester. But if you have previous knowledge, then second or even like third or even second semester is not bad. You can manage that.
Yeah, I comment on that, but like for project, I would say as soon as
Yeah,
you think you can. I mean, and it doesn't matter if you don't know about it. What really matters is you want to learn about it because no one is expecting you to go there and put the whole thing from nothing. For internship, I would say start trying from the third or second semester is too early, but if you want to try, sure. Third semester is the playground, so you try, you see how the interviews works, and by the fourth you should be able to have more and more experience in that, and you should be able But in the fifth, more and more people will like you. The companies, yeah, because most of the companies have this idea if you are interning with them in the last year, they will like keep you full time after that.
Can we start on the internship topic because like
Yeah,
I can dive deep into it. So um, with that, so I had no coding knowledge before joining university, and a lot of students are like that. And I wasn't like I'm no genius, right? So I wanted to get into the internship program, but I didn't know where to start. And you should know that some companies here, if you get rejected, you cannot apply before 6 to a year, so 6 months to a year, in order to apply for the same internship. So you have to be a bit smart on your choices. What I did is that around the end of second semester, beginning of third semester, I started applying for the companies that I don't really want to work there, but I want to see how the interviews are. And I went and did around maybe 6 interviews in 6 different companies just to take experience. And every interview where I went there and I got rejected, I would learn what I like the questions that they asked, what kind of um, coding assignments did I have, what kind of expectations did they expect from a student, and so on. And I've never learned so much outside of interviews as much as I learned inside of the interviews themselves because your attitude matters, your knowledge matters. All the way, or along the way, while you're applying for internships, what you really want to focus on is how you progress in studying for those interviews, and also about the rejections. I mean, I have like I don't know 22 rejection emails, like or more. And I don't care, right? It's very common to have such rejection emails, and this is what got me to have 2 internships in such amazing companies that we'll get to later. But yeah, there's a process that you need to plan. Don't go ahead and apply for everything, and you're not knowing anything. You have to find some iterations or some weeks where you're developing yourself. You're stopping from applying anywhere, and then you apply again until you find your pace, and then hopefully you will by fourth semester you will get there, or even maybe before that.
Yeah, she's really good. I usually just apply for what I like. But I think I don't want to switch the topic that much, but at least for that, I would say if you are going to choose an internship or you want to go into a certain company, uh, don't go for the name of the company as much as you go for the team, what it's offering, what technologies it's using, and who's your mentor. And that's a big like point. Who's mentoring you? Because you want someone who's able to not giving you help at every step, but knows where to do that and when to do that.
But it's not possible to know that before an internship.
Yeah, but at least you can guess it from the for the interview as well. So in the interview, you should be on the you should be confident enough to ask them that okay, um, you know what I'm offering, but what are you offering me? So what kind of internship are you planning? What is the program that we are going to do? Because I'm here for you to make me better, make me a better software engineer or programmer or developer, whatever you want to call it. And there should be a good plan for you from the beginning.
I also got like I think I got accepted in 2 companies and I rejected them just plainly because of this reason. When I was at the interview, I did not feel comfortable. I didn't see myself working there. I didn't like how the team communicated with each others. And despite me getting accepted, I still rejected their offer plainly just for that. So, as Sam said, you need to be there because of you, not because of them first, and then because of them.
Yeah.
What's the best practice you can advise before a technical interview or a technical test or completion? Should we have one prepared for it?
Yeah, how do you prepare for it?
Yeah.
Uh, okay, so from my experience, I usually have in hacker rank you have this interview kit where it's basically problem solving, and you are going and you are trying to solve there. But a little bit thing that I usually do is like I'm trying to understand why a solution is working and another is not. Because usually interviews not enough that you solve it, the problem. It's about why did you choose this solution and why not the other solution. So that's where the tricky part is. So
And
your knowledge about the problem.
and you don't have to solve lead code in order to be there. Like it's not important to know, go through lead code and just spend hours and hours figuring out something. Literally, just go on food wars to practice syntaxes and go on HackerRank to practice interviews.
It helps. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, it totally depends on what kind of like internship or jobs that you want to like interview to. So there have different techniques. It's that big of a thing. But I would say that whatever you do, don't go without preparing.
Yeah, the easiest thing, just go on Google, type interview questions about this, and then you'll get millions of questions, and just go through them and understand stuff. Do not memorize.
So, sorry to interrupt, guys. I think that need to take a break for 5 minutes, and you guys can have a break as well, and drink something. And thanks for asking questions, and thanks for them answer the questions. So now we have the other session as well about the job opportunities and examples. The same questions. The drink water.
Okay, so that's Facebook. Okay.
I was taking a video for himself.
It's fine. It wasn't like it was. I was like, oh, guys, what's he doing? Hey, hello. Africa the life. What?
So now we will have like a quick 15-minute session on job opportunities, and our speakers work at IBM and Cloudera as full-time software developers. And if you have questions, feel free to ask. And yeah, if you have something to share, speakers, you are also welcome to share.
I really liked it.
Yes.
So, yeah, feel free to ask. Shoot. Yeah.
Okay, so
Uh,
I, I,
you can subject.
what's the, so,
So
does
it
it
is-
differ if you have only bachelor's or you have bachelor's and master's and PhD, or are you speaking about the GPA? Or?
No, I think he's speaking if you are taking a course, for example, or a boot camp, it does have the same value as going from a bachelor university, right? Yeah. Okay. So, from my experience, uh, these are two different ways of going to like to get a job. So I know a lot of people that just went to a boot camp and they were doing like web or whatever that the job required, and they got hired as the people who studied in the university. But do they have the same knowledge? I don't think so. Not the same variety, because in university you get introduced to a lot of different areas, and you get to choose which one you want to be like not expert, but that you want to work with. So it's two ways going to something, but I think having a bachelor gives you more of recognition. But that's only my opinion.
Um,
Are we talking from talking about,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
no, I'm just asking if you're asking from the employer's perspective or from your perspective. Like, will the employer prioritize you for having a degree? Is that what you're asking?
I don't know. I mean, Nadim can answer that, but my question will be whoever gets the job done. So usually, if you can do the interview well, then it's fine. Some companies does require you to have a degree, so you have to have a bachelor at least, but that's vanishing more and more. And for the employer, if you can go through the interview, if you can show them that you can do what they want you to do, they don't care that much about the background. But I guess
Yes, some portals for applying for jobs, they like have certain requirements. You have to have a degree in this, or you have to have a certified degree from XXX. It's just like different stuff for applying. But when you actually get into the interview, at that point, it just depends on you. So I guess it depends on the company.
So, if you guys don't know how the process is, even as an intern, so you start off with a coding, not interview, it's a coding task, and you solve it, and then if you get past the coding task, you get to have an interview with the team. If you get past that, some people have more interviews, or you get accepted. So at the end, you are the one that values the most, so it doesn't matter if you have a bachelor's degree or a boot camp based off education. I would agree with Hussam that totally yes. If you go through university, you will have much more knowledge than people who go through boot camp. But despite this knowledge, if you're not good, they're going to be accepted for the job, not you. So there's like a two-way perspective in this kind of situation. However, at the end, your knowledge is the only thing that matters. Your bachelor's matters if you want to be a manager later on. So in order to be a manager, you have to have a bachelor's degree, but in getting a job, that's not the most important thing, at least in Hungary.
And I would like to add then that you are asking three people who went or in university right now, so our like answer is very biased. Your university. Yeah. You did have a question.
For example, you have experience of asking the bosses or the company to increase your salary, and how did you approach this process? That's my first question.
Yeah, I mean, no, like, I mean, negotiating your salary or something like that as an intern, I don't think that's something that I ever heard of.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
for interns, it's actually government regulated, right?
Yes,
Yeah, you can choose.
mostly, yes. Most companies, they go through
Agency.
student agencies, and it's standard.
yeah, so part-time and full-time, it's only about your scope of asking. So, and again, it's about what you are bringing to the table. So if they really want you, they can offer you more. But again, if you just said yes, they'll be like delighted about that you are taking.
Never say yes on the first offer. So like when they tell you, when they tell you, don't say okay. Just say, I was expecting more. So, and then you'll get there.
Yeah,
But like make your research. So
uh,
it's important to make research as well about your salary. So your position, what you use, what technology inside of the same company, what kind of salary do they give for your position, and so on. So make your research before going to that step and actually asking for a salary increase as a full-time or a part-time, not as an intern.
and